Coming up today on Retire Right with Clifton Ross, maybe one of the biggest but least understood risks to your retirement comes from policymakers in Washington and in St. Paul. Today, we'll identify some of these legislative risks and strategies to help you preserve your savings. Plus, you'll walk away from today's show with actionable steps you can take today to start making a difference for your financial future. Retire Right with Clifton Ross starts right now.
Retirement is more than a destination. It's a journey that starts with a dream, a vision for the way you want to live, recharge, and give back. To get there, you need a plan to reach your retirement goals. Clifton Ross with Guardian Resources has the strategies you need to plan for income, taxes, health care, and more. For years, Clifton has been helping families plan for a successful retirement. Welcome to Retire Right with Clifton Ross.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly Dame here with Clifton Ross. Clifton, I know we have a lot to unpack today and happy to have you with me.
Thank you, Kelly. Good to see you again.
So our big idea today is ways that you can help prevent legislative risk from totally undermining your retirement. So Clifton, I want you to spell out this legislative risk big idea for us.
Well, Kelly, so during the working years, we're used to all of this unknown. And I think by the time you get to retirement, you're hoping things can finally just be as stable as possible. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The big idea here today is how legislative risk can impact the way policyholders affect communities, families in your retirement. And it's really kind of defined as the risk of constraints that are on corporations or industries. And that is sometimes micro issues that affect the individual. And then sometimes it's macro issues that really impact the entire economy.
Well, the good news is we've got you here you are paying attention to this stuff all the time, so we don't necessarily have to as much. Now, we've seen this a lot before where Congress or the IRS makes a change in the tax code and then leaves the everyday taxpayer to scramble to react and find out, what does this mean for me, right?
It's true. In fact, we've seen it most recently with the Secure Act and the Secure Act 2.0 that had some really significant changes on the retirement landscape. One of those is the required minimum distribution age. That's been unchanged for 30 years, but it's changed now to where it's the time that you'll take your income in retirement changes, and the amount of taxes that's implied changes as well. You'll see that with the Retirement 2.0 was also changes to the way beneficiaries receive IRA money. That changes the time period by which they have to liquidate all that money. That affects the taxation on it. So all these changes. And of course, with every election, it brings in a new Congress and a new presidential administration that can possibly change everything. Some changes that we're watching for right now is changes to Social Security that a lot of people are concerned about, and changes to Medicare. So at a time where you want things to be as stable as possible, things are still pretty much in flux, and you have to navigate that.
Those are definitely some big ones to watch. Now, you talked about some of the micro ones, and then mentioned some big ones as well. So let's talk more about some of those macro legislative risks that may have a broader impact on people in their retirement.
Well, Kelly, the macro we hear about all the time. Tariffs are one of them, right? What will that do to corporations? What will that do to economies? You talk about, you look at China and Taiwan and what the outcomes might be there, being that Taiwan is a leader in the semiconductor industry. So implications there could affect what happens to the entire market tech-wise. So many changes there. And then the spending that affects the national debt is something that people get concerned about for national security. And of course, taxes, right? Because this might create the need to increase more revenue. When you look at the national debt today, do you know it's approaching $40 trillion? One of the analogies that we use there, because I think trillion is so big as a number.
Hard, yeah.
It's hard to really conceive what a trillion really is. But a lot of us, we can get our heads wrapped around a million. We may not have it, but we can kind of at least understand it a little bit more. So I use this analogy all the time because it really is striking. But if you were to go back to the birth of Christ over 2,000 years ago and start spending $1 million per day to this very day, that wouldn't equate to 1 million yet.
Ooh.
Isn't that something, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about a $40 trillion debt, it just puts in perspective how huge that is. And so this creates a lot of concern for retirees that are thinking, what if it's me that has to supplement this with my taxation and increasing revenue? So something that a lot of people are concerned about.
Yeah, that is one scenario I had not heard, which it's eye-opening and helps put it in perspective. Do you find that you have a lot of people coming into your doors saying, everything that's going on with what's happening in Washington, I'm concerned about it? Do people have a lot of overwhelming feelings?
You know, it's hard not to, because we have a 24-hour news cycle, right? And news, you know, in some sense, there's a sensationalism in there, but there are real stories and there are real issues. And I think in our younger years, when we can just, you know, feel as though we can just get a job whenever we need to and make the money we need to, there's a confidence that comes from there. But then in the retirement years, when we really maybe don't want to go and have to have a job and have to work, we want to enjoy retirement. And then you hear all these changes and you wonder, how will they affect me and how will they affect my security in retirement? You can understand where the angst comes from.
At the top of the show, I said, you've got the hard part, right, of keeping abreast of everything that's constantly changing. But I do want to seriously ask, how do you and your team keep up to pace with everything that's always changing? Is it just always having your ear to the ground? How do you guys keep on top of everything?
Well, obviously we can't know everything. So what we do is we just know our clients as best as possible, and you know what their goals are, you know what their concerns are. And then as we, like everyone else, is becoming aware of the legislative risks, the law changes, the policy changes, we're always thinking about, how does this impact our clients? And then what then should be the advice relative to each individual's concerns or interest or goals. So it really is knowing the client, understanding who they are and what's important for them, and also what's happening to the environment and how can that be impacting them, and thinking about that on a continual basis every day.
Well, you said continual, and I think that's the perfect way to describe it, because your retirement plan is not something that you can plan and then you get to sit back and do nothing for years and years, right? Like because of all of these changes, there's a certain attention you need to pay to it.
We live in the real world, right? And the real world is dynamic and is changing all of the time. And so what you can do to try to have as much control as possible is just have a plan. And those that have a plan, I think, have the ability to navigate a little bit better the things that are unknown and the things that are unexpected. I think sometimes those that don't have a plan might feel a little bit more anxious sometimes, or maybe not feel as confident as things unfold.
Well, that plan, we're going to talk a lot more about what that plan might look like for you. So thank you for the insights. Coming up next, strategies to help you reduce the impact of legislative changes on your retirement. And later, Clifton is in the hot seat for Retirement IQ. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wonder later. Call for your free analysis today.
I'm here with Clifton Ross, founder of Guardian Resources. And Clifton, today we are helping our viewers understand the potential impact of changes in legislation and public policy on retirement. There can be a lot. So what are some of the ways that we can take back a little bit more control?
Well, this is going to surprise you, Kelly, coming from a financial planner. But the most important thing to do is to have a plan.
Whoa, shocking.
Revelation. It's important to have a plan. Not that a plan will change ultimately what's happening legislatively or what's happening in the economy. But what a plan does do, though, it allows you to, in essence, kind of have a baseline so that you kind of know, well, here's what I expect to have happen. Now, whether it happens or not, obviously, those are the things that are not in our control. But by you at least having an anticipation, it creates a baseline. So then as legislation changes realities, you get to see how much that plan changes, whether it's better, to your benefit or to your detriment. But either way, it just gives you a way to navigate the unknowns and what's happening in a way for you to maintain confidence. Because I think the thing that people are really wanting in retirement, just from my observation as a planner for going on almost 20 years now, it's just that we just want confidence. We know that we don't control the future. We know that we don't know everything. But in spite of that, we just want to feel as though we can live the way that we want to live for the extended period of time that we tend to have because we are living longer. So having a plan fundamentally is, I would say, it's really kind of step number one to making sure that you're able to navigate all the things that are unknown.
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you as well. We've done several of these shows together, and you probably know I like control. And it's a problem. I'm willing to admit it. But I know many of the changes that we've discussed today involve government spending and taxation. Do we really have control when it comes to taxes that we owe in retirement?
Well, then, Kelly, you especially are going to like this.
Great.
The answer is yes. The answer is that you do have control. And you tend to have much more of that control in the earlier years. In the earlier years, when you're working, you have earned income in most cases, and you're paying taxes in real time, federal and state taxes. And then you get to control and decide if you want to contribute to a 401k. If you do, you get to lower your taxable income at that time because you're deferring that into the future. You can choose not to defer that income and pay taxes in real time. So you have a lot of control. And even in the earlier retirement years, when maybe we don't have earned income anymore, you can choose what you're taking from your IRA or your 401k and thereby determining your own taxation. So early on, we tend to have quite a bit of control.
And taking it even earlier, I imagine that getting that plan or that strategy in place even before you retire is also important, right? The earlier the better?
Well, it's like planning for a trip. You want to plan for a trip before the trip.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to find out about the trip while you're on it.
I'm planning on the trip, sometimes on the trip. But using that metaphor, though, sometimes it does create some anxiety, right? And sometimes you do have the unknowns. Like when I didn't plan on where we would eat in France, and we get to France, and every restaurant you can't eat at, right? Because you're just, sold out.
I'm sure your family loved that. Maybe that's for another show.
Yeah, wifey a little upset at Cliffy. So you plan before you do things. And obviously you have an advantage in doing that.
Cliffy, is this how we should be referring to you?
Yeah, let's forget I said that.
It is now etched in tape, right?
If anybody calls me Cliffy.
The digital world, it can be cruel. Well, I want to know a little bit more about income strategy that could also help potentially reduce some of our taxes in retirement.
Well, Kelly, this is what we kind of call the saver's surprise. And here's what I mean by that. And I've seen this kind of time and time again. But you have those who felt as though they were doing everything they should be doing by saving as much as they possibly could. And oftentimes we're saving in that 401k, we're saving in our IRA. We're incentivized to do so because in many cases we have company matches, you're lowering your taxable income, and you just kind of roll that out, you play that out. And then you get to the retirement years, and now you realize that you have all this money. If it's more or less, it is what it is. But you have taxes due on all of that money now that's been deferred this whole time. And then you take withdrawals from that, and you're going to pay taxes at current tax rates, which might be higher than they were sometimes even during your working years, or based on the amount of the money. And then you've got Social Security income now that you might have to contend with. And your Social Security tax is related to the amounts of withdrawals that you're taking from your IRA. Then you've got Medicare premiums that are tied to that. You've got required distributions that we'll have later on in life. We'll talk a little bit later in the show. And so all this kind of creates all this taxation that sometimes surprises people. In fact, I had a woman one time who we were talking about this, and she was relating to all the taxes that I think didn't know that she was kind of incubating and having to pay. And she says, you know what, I felt like they've weaponized my 401k against me. Ooh. That here I was thinking that I was winning, but the more I win, the more I lose. She was really perplexed by that. And so this is why you hear a lot of people now asking a lot of questions about how to minimize tax or not pay tax unnecessarily. And this is where Roth conversions have become very, very popular, where people are choosing to take some of this IRA money and actually convert it into Roth IRA, pay the taxes, at least at levels that they are aware of and have some control over that. Because once it goes into the Roth account, assuming it stays there for a period of time, all the interest grows tax-free. Mm-hmm. So when you take this money out in the future, you're not paying tax on it. So that's a strategy that we're seeing a lot of people start to employ to minimize what I call the effect of that saver's surprise.
What a strong phrase, weaponize my 401k, right? I think that there's a lot of emotion behind that too. And you've got part of your role, I think you wear many hats, is helping people navigate that emotion too. So again, appreciate all of those insights. And we're going to talk a lot more about planning and retirement and ways potentially that you can bring back more of that control. So straight ahead, Clifton is in the hot seat, one of my favorite segments for our retirement IQ. And later, what are some simple, actionable steps that you can take to help improve your financial future today? Clifton has your checklist challenge. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes in retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
It is now time to put Clifton's knowledge to the test with this week's retirement IQ.
All right.
How about it?
I'm scared.
No, really? No, you're prepared. You're ready. I think you'll be able to smooth sail through these, right? Okay, so
find out.
Question 1, 9 states do not have an income tax for individuals. Name one of them.
Well, you're right. So this is not very hard because I can name 2 for sure because we live in Minnesota. And the 2 things that we want to get away from in Minnesota is snow in the wintertime and taxes.
Mm-hmm. Where do you go?
Florida, yes. Texas.
Correct.
Final answer.
Yep. Those are 2 of them. We only needed 1, but you got 2.
Bonus.
The others, Alaska, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Washington, and Wyoming.
All right. Well, we'll put those on the list.
Trivia question 2. One of the biggest overhauls to our retirement system in recent years was the Secure Act. What does Secure Act stand for?
Acronym for setting up a secure SEC, right? Setting every community up for awesome community things.
You got about
pretty close,
70% of that.
Setting every community.
For awesome community, thanks. Setting every community up for retirement enhancement. I'll give you
That's
half
better.
a point
Yeah, I'll
on
take a
that
half
one.
there. Yeah.
Okay, all right. But there are changes that often happen in retirement that we need to be prepared for. So I think it all goes back to what we continually say is that plan, right?
That's right. You
Okay.
said it.
There's no more to,
No,
to
I
be
could
said,
say more,
right?
but you did it already. Now you're doing my job.
Well, I'm here for just a little while longer. Question number 3. What is the current full retirement age in the U.S.?
So it's really kind of
hope you know
a
this.
range. I kind of know-ish. Yeah. So it's really kind of based on your birth date. But the simple answer is between 66 and 67 based on the year you were born. What's more important, I think, is for individuals to know what their full retirement date is. So I always tell people, go to ssa.gov and you can create a profile and review what your full retirement age is and what the projected benefits are, because like we said, with all these other things, they can change. And so you might need an update based on cost of living increases and things like that.
It's never that simple, is it? Like, it's never just it's this number and
Right,
go.
it's always, well, remember
there's a
this
caveat.
70,000 pages in the tax code, right?
Yeah,
So
there's a
nothing
lot
simple.
to get through. That is true. And I know there also Social Security comes into play as well, and like when the right time is to take that, and that can also change, right?
Right, well, how do you maximize that benefit? And just for the numbers themselves, right, the amount of income that it will be. But there's a lot of anxiety today and concern about the Social Security Administration, the trust fund saying, so unless Congress does something, it may not be what we're even projecting it to be.
Yeah.
So stay
Gotta be
tuned
prepared.
on that one.
Stay tuned. Question number 4. What year was the Roth IRA introduced?
Well, Kelly, another easy one for me because
Okay.
there's 2 amazing things that happened in 1997. Number 1, I got married to my beautiful wife, Elisa. So that's unforgettable.
That's amazing.
The second best thing to happen in 1997 was the introduction of the Roth IRA, where you can now grow money inside of this vehicle tax-free. So what a lot of people are doing today is they are taking IRA money and they are converting it to Roth, taking the initiative to pay the taxes, at least in today's rates and based on conditions that they're familiar with, knowing that going forward in the Roth, when they take those dollars out in the future, they can take that income tax free.
Yeah.
But 1997, very important year in my life.
You've got your 30 year coming up here soon. Don't ya?
Well, you said you weren't great at math. It's really, it's 29.
Yeah, almost 30.
Oh, almost 30. Okay, that's true.
Now who's not good at math? I mean, come on, we're estimating here, right? There's
Okay.
always a caveat. Like I said, it's not so cut and dry.
That's pretty good. Okay.
And I will
Nice
say,
save, Kelly. Nice save.
I will say that you did get 3.5 out of 4.
Okay.
Right? So I still think pretty darn
I
good.
passed the class. Great.
That is our time on this segment. Of course, we'll be right back. Still to come, you're going to learn some of the simple steps you can take today to potentially help you improve your situation, because how useful is knowledge without action? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes and retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse, knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wander later. Call for your free analysis today.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Retire Right with Clifton Ross. And Clifton, who knew that legislative risk, we could have so much fun talking about it. It's also so very important as well. And it potentially can impact our future in big ways in retirement. So I think we've all certainly learned a lot. And I know the saying goes, knowledge is power, right?
Well, I think knowledge with action is power.
Yeah.
So there's 3 action steps that I'd like to end the show with today that I think people can easily do to start getting a grip on having control relative to legislation risks in retirement. So action step number 1 is to know your full retirement age. So I encourage people to go to ssa.gov. You can create a profile and see specifically for you, what will your full retirement age be? And then what will your Social Security income be at full retirement? Because you can take it a little bit earlier than full retirement at what we call as a kind of a discount. You can take it at full retirement age, or you can defer to age 70 where you have the maximum benefits. So I think it's helpful to know which one of those incomes might be yours. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to take an inventory of your retirement savings. Remember I said earlier about that, the saver surprise, where you're surprised at the end of, I have to deal with all this taxation. I think it's good to kind of track that along the way so that you're just less surprised and you know how much of this money is so far untaxed that you're deferring for the future, because this is going to be a source of taxable income someday. So making sure you just kind of know what that is, I think is helpful. And the number 3, and really important, this kind of puts it all together, is we know at some point we'll have that required minimum distribution. This is now where you're required to take withdrawals from your 401k or IRA, and you don't get to determine the amount that you take out, right? There's a schedule for that. Well, maybe look up that schedule. You can just Google that, required distribution. There's a change, as we said before, from previous. So the ages are different. And based on your birth date are different ages for that required distribution. So if you take 1, 2, 3, right? First, anticipate what your Social Security income is projected to be. Number 2, how much of this tax deferred income do I have to work with? And then number 3, based on my RMD age, how much of this am I going to have to take? And you can actually start to project your income. And if you can project your income, you can start to anticipate your taxes and knowing, is there anything that you can do to mitigate that? And frankly, Kelly, that's one of the things that people reach out to us for a lot. If you feel overwhelmed, if one feels stuck, they're welcome to reach out to my team at Guardian Resources, and we'll be happy to give them the guidance they need to navigate this landscape of
Sometimes
taxes.
just a simple conversation can make all the difference, right?
Exactly right. That's why I'm here.
All right. Well, we love it, and we always love having you here as well. So the retirement landscape, we know, constantly changing, and Clifton and his team is here to stay on top of all of the latest changes so you can spend your time doing what you love with the people who matter most to you. For Clifton and the team at Guardian Resources, I'm Kelly Dame. Have a great week, and we'll see you right back here next time.